The Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leisure Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Para Cave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
And yes, welcome back to the Para Cave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is part 2 of the interview with Chris Johns. I hope you really enjoyed part number 1. Some great little stories there, and in part 2 I can guarantee you there is some more interesting stories as well. So look, this is part 2. Enjoy this episode. Do you have a favourite grand final win? Because the Broncos went on to win in 93 against the Dragons as well.
Probably 93 was my favourite one. I think I had a bit more input in the game. I think we were written off. Like, we played our last game of the season, and St George touched us up. They beat us by 20 or 30 points. Everyone wrote us off. The media wrote us off. Even I think Wayne Bennett had serious doubts.
Really?
He got to us. He said, "Listen, you're all rock stars. You've been patting yourself on the back all year. Like, if we would have won today, we would have finished in second spot." Right?
Yeah.
But because we got beat by St George, we finished in 5th spot. And in those days, no team had ever won from 5th position.
Yep.
So we were written off by everyone. The only ones that didn't write it off was the playing group, all of us. We knew we could do it. We got together and said, "Listen, boys, that's just a game. That's the last game of the season. Who cares? We got beat by 30.
Yeah.
Let's pull our socks up and get in there and have a crack, and we can do something special." And we did it. So it was, after everyone wrote us off, we actually climbed from 5th spot for the first time to win the premiership, and it was really, really bittersweet.
Did you get to meet the late great Tina Turner that year?
I did. I was actually responsible for that.
Okay.
We were there getting our photo taken, and the cameraman was pushing us all around, and I saw her. I said, "Wait there."
Yeah.
So I jumped up out of the group, went over to her and said, "Oh, Tina, can you come into the photo with us?" And she came over and sat between me and Kevy.
Oh, wow.
And and sang the song with us. She was lip syncing because we were singing our song.
Okay, yeah.
And she was pretending she knew the words, but it was good.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great piece of history, that one. Did you go crowd surfing with Alfie in the celebrations back at the Lease Club those years?
No, mate. I let all that bloody rock star flashy stuff for Alf and Kevy. They were good at that.
Yeah, no, that's it. Well, one of those games that you lost in 1993 was way back in round 3, and that was against Parramatta. That was the first game at ANZ Stadium up in Brisbane. What was it like playing against Parramatta during your career?
Oh, mate, well, I debuted against Parramatta for St George, and the actual game was the first ever game for the old Parramatta Stadium.
That's right, yeah. 1986,
and we got beat by 30 or 40 points. So I didn't have that good a memory. And, I was a young kid in the centres, and you had a bloke by the name of Michael Cronin, Brett Kenny, Steve Ella, and someone chiming in from the back there, Paul Taylor. That was a nightmare back line to defend against, So you can imagine that game, I was like a traffic buddy director.
Yeah.
I was just, you go that way, you go that way. and we got flogged.
Yeah, 36-6. Sterling Kenny in the halves, Ray Price as captain.
Now, for you to know that off the top of your head, you must be a Parramatta supporter.
Yeah, it's a great memory, that game. Unfortunately, not for yourself, but for Para fans it is. But it's been way too long since we've had times like that, I think. Be 40 years next year, so hopefully we can get over the line next year. Now, the middle 90s come along and Super League comes along. What sort of a time was that for yourself? Was that a difficult time for yourself?
It was a difficult time and it was a great time, you know. I think our game had been really undervalued for a long time, you know. Kerry Packer's private toy, you know, and he'd sit there with Channel 9 and the bosses of the league, and, you know, and there was no one else bidding. So he was doing what he wanted. And like good things that happen, when competition arrives, it makes things a little bit better for the people that are playing the game. So it was awful in the way it split the game so horribly, you know.
Yep.
But in the end, it's a lot of the things that we're seeing now are all because of what happened in Super League, you know. And but the one thing is, I never lost a mate.
Okay.
I never lost a friend, you know, and that's where it got ugly. There was people that lost friends and did that sort of thing. But I was playing for Jeff Carr was like number one man from the other side. You know, he was my manager in my Australian teams I played in and my State of Origin teams I played in. You know,
yep.
And and all the players I knew. You know, like Benny Elias and all that. We never even even had ill words towards each other. It was going on at a lot higher level than us. And so the real people that really hurt were the fans, and that was the travesty and the damage that shouldn't have happened. It was horrible for what happened for the punters and the people on the street that support our game. They got put through a lot of crap, and I'm just glad that we're all back together now, and we can just treat that as a chapter of where the game had to go a bit to try and refocus and professionalise and move forward.
Yeah, no, a lot of the players that I've spoken to that were playing around that time, they basically just said that they stayed at the clubs that they were playing at because they wanted to stay, as you've said many a time, to play footy with their mates, and a lot of them didn't lose a lot of friends, but yeah, we are seeing the rewards, I guess, these days. We see $1 million players in the game today, and it was just good that it came back together. And after the game came back together in 1998, you became the CEO of a new club that came out of that, the Melbourne Storm. Was that something that you always wanted to do, get in the admin side of things in rugby league?
Yeah, while I was playing for the Broncos, I was assistant marketing manager for a year.
Okay.
So a lot of people didn't have jobs back then, but I actually was assistant marketing manager. And then for the last year I was playing at the Broncos, I was actually the football manager.
Okay.
So I was learning, parts of the stuff while I was still playing. And then when I became, when I retired, the Broncos said, right, you can just step into the football manager's job and run the football department. And I said, yeah, that's great. And then Super League, News Limited, offered me a job. They said, listen, do you want to come and work for us in head office in Sydney as part of our football department? So I was tossing up a few ideas.
Yep.
But then John Rebo was offered a 30% share in Melbourne Storm.
Okay.
So he came to me and said, hey, listen, don't go and work for News Limited in Sydney. You can be the first CEO of Melbourne. I'll give you a 5% share. So I thought, wow, what a wonderful opportunity. I can go and be the first CEO of Melbourne Storm. I was able to be one of the first players for the Brisbane Broncos. Yeah. I can be the first CEO. And what a wonderful opportunity to go down there and be a pioneer and try and get rugby league on the map. So it was really exciting for me, and I accepted the position pretty quickly to move off down to Melbourne and take the reins.
Well, you certainly did put the Melbourne Storm on the map, and could you believe that they made the finals in the first year and then won the competition in the second?
No, I think if you look at world sport, that'll never be done again. No. You know, like that for any franchise or any major professional competition, to be able to do that was like we had a fair bit of luck. We had a fair bit of hard work, but it was great to be able to achieve it so quickly. A great group of people.
That's right. Well, we spoke about NRL expansion just before. Being the CEO of when setting up a new club, what's the most important thing you think is to do? Is it signing the right coach or that star player, or What is the first thing that you would do?
The greatest lesson I got at the Broncos was to get the best people, right? The right people, with nothing against St George or the Sydney clubs or anything. When I went to Brisbane, they had 4 businessmen. One was a stockbroker, one was a bloody in legal, another person was in property, another one was owned pubs and bloody boats, ferry boats and that sort of thing. So there were 4 dynamic businessmen that were just totally focused on making something successful. And, they taught me just get good people. Don't put up with poor people. And the second biggest thing that we were taught was don't try and use a checkbook to attract someone. Okay. So don't go out and get the checkbook out and try and buy a player. You've got to get a player to come down here that wants to be as excited as you about being a pioneer in Melbourne, about being something different, about building the next Brisbane Broncos. And that's what we saw. We said, whenever we pulled a player in, we said, mate, don't talk about money. We'll pay you as much as what everyone else is offering. We won't be paying you more. But what we're going to give you the opportunity is part of something that's going to be like Brisbane. We're going to have Melbourne, a whole city of 4 million people, all on our side. Yeah. So we needed to get them excited about it. And the best recruitment we got was Chris Anderson. Because he absolutely, when I first asked him, I said, mate, why do you want to be here? Canterbury, you've been there for so long, they're not getting rid of you. He said, I want to be a pioneer. I want to be the person that makes rugby league in Melbourne. And I just got so excited, and I said, right, you got the job. And once we got in together, and he just, wonderful person from that, he'd learnt from Canterbury and the great bullfrog, Peter Moore, about, building family culture around a football team. And, he set out to do that and recruited his staff accordingly. And then we got together a wonderful group of players that we're all excited about coming there and being successful, not filling their bank accounts.
Yeah. Can you believe, you and your team set up the Storm and laid a pretty good platform. Can you believe how successful they've become since your time down there?
Yeah, I think, hats off. I think John Rebo and myself were lucky enough to put some really good foundations down. And we made a lot of inroads down there through News Limited and the people down there with Ken Cowley that was on our board. And, a lot of business people and a lot of sponsorship. And we got a lot of that together. But really, they were really strong foundations. But the house that they've built is just phenomenal. And you really have to take your hat off to Craig Bellamy. I think he's... and after with Craig Bellamy, Panisi and those sort of people, Frank Panisi, they've built an amazing culture of where again players want to go there and play because they know they're going to be better players, and they're not going there for a checkbook reason.
Okay.
They've done a super job.
That's nice. Well, those two are still in the game, and do you still enjoy watching the game of rugby league?
Yeah, I love it, mate. It's a bit late. What I'd like to do is lobby the NRL to not kick off at 8 o'clock. It's a bit late for me. I'm getting past 60 now, and after I've had a couple of beers and that, I tend to doze off in the second half. So, if they, it's a super game to watch. And like the athletes at the moment, like some of the things that those wingers do around corner posts and what we're doing in the air at the moment, it's just gone to another level.
Oh, definitely, for sure. And on the other flip side of things, what is keeping you busy these days?
Oh, I'm lucky. I'm in business with Ian Healy and my brother.
Okay.
We've got a car washing franchise. We've got 10 car washes up here in southeast Queensland. So we've got plenty. We've got about 150 staff now. So we've got a lot of work to do, but it keeps us busy. We like washing cars and getting out there with people. It's good.
Ah, nice. Give the business a plug.
Yeah, Hoppies Express. Get in there, in and out.
Nice.
Queues. There's no queues at Hoppies. We wash a car every 30 seconds.
Oh wow, that's pretty quick. That's for sure. Well, just on being you're an old Broncos old boy and the 6th player to be inducted in the Broncos Hall of Fame. What did you see through the eyes of a former teammate? The sacking of Kevin Walters. How did you take that one?
Oh, I didn't like it. I haven't been in the media at all, and I don't want to get in the media at all about this. I've moved on from my opinion on what's got to happen there because they're not listening that much.
Yep.
But I was disappointed for Kevy, and he's done a wonderful job there, and I think he deserved the time to finish that job off. But things have happened. We've all got to move on. I'm just hoping for the day when the current chairman and CEO are gone, and then I'll be a little bit happier. And that's as political as you're going to get me. No more about that.
That's fair enough. Not a problem. We'll move right on to some common league questions. Did you have a favourite game that you played throughout your career? One that stands out?
Oh, I think that 93 grand final, that was pretty special.
Yeah. Now, other than your home ground, did you have a favourite ground that you used to love playing at?
Oh, mate, the SFS. State of Origin and the SFS was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's it. That's where they used to have all the big games there. What about a least favourite? Was there a ground you hated playing at for whatever reason?
Oh, didn't like going to Canberra. Bloody cold. I dislocated my elbow there once, and cold and hard place to win, Canberra.
Yeah, no, that gets mentioned a lot of times when I ask that question, that's for sure. Who was the hardest player to tackle or play against?
Oh, mate, Chris Mortimer. I loved him, the way he played the game. I didn't when I was playing against him because it was always a battle, But just tough as teak, but fair and just hard, hard man. And a wonderful bloke.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've heard MG say that plenty of times when he was at Penrith and they were playing together, just how tough he was. I think I heard a story of him. He had a broken hand and at one point pulled the pin out, I think, or something like that. Something ridiculous like that to play. Was there ever a player in the warm-up or in the sheds before a game that you saw and you just looked over and just gave you confidence that you thought, yeah, we're going to be on here?
Oh, mate, it's hard. That's never really thought about that question. But I think, like Alan Langer, he's a great player, and he was an amazing captain. But, he wasn't there giving Churchillian speeches or doing anything else. He'd lead by example. He'd be the first one down to get someone after he kicked the ball, or he'd be the biggest bloke on the field. He'd be straight in there hard as nails, But, like, before a game, he'd be spewing in the corner, being sick because he'd be getting nervous for going out or whatever it was. But, like, you think, I'll sit somewhere else. I don't want that spew on me today. So, but he's probably the most. But I think probably the player I admire the most was, like Wally Lewis. Like he was amazing. Like the way he could control the State of Origin game, and his defence was so bloody sound. His attack was so sound. His kicking game was so sound. We see players now like the Cam Smiths and the Jonathan Thurstons and all those players. But like, geez, Wally could hold the game in his hand better than anyone I ever saw.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And a shout out to Wally Lewis. He's doing it a bit tough at the moment, but we're all thinking of him, and certainly a great player, an immortal of rugby league, that is for sure. And speaking of a great player like Wally, was there a player that you didn't get to play with that you would have loved to have had the opportunity to play with?
Not really. I was played. I was coached by Bob Fulton, but he was always a teenager, like my hero growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
I suppose I would have loved to have played with him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. If you didn't go down the rugby league path, what do you think you would have done instead?
Oh, mate, I did an apprenticeship for Qantas as an aircraft maintenance fitter, so I'd probably be still there tightening bolts and loosening bolts.
No, that's fair enough. Do you have any regrets from your playing days, or you do it all again the same way?
No, all exactly the same way.
Yeah.
All exactly the same way. We were lucky, we had a lot of success, and we got in trouble a fair few times too, and did probably a few things I wish I didn't do, but in the mix of it all, all pretty good.
Sounds good. Well, we'll wrap things up with a quick top 10 and this set of 6 questions. First of all, the quick top 10, and you can elaborate on these ones. These are just sort of some fun questions. Barbecue or tomato sauce?
Oh, tomato.
And just a side question to that one, where do you keep it?
Oh, in the fridge.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I'm a cupboard guy. On a plane, do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Window. Got to go to sleep.
Yeah, fair enough. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No. My wife's going to kill me. Yes.
Nah, that's always a debatable one, that one. Are you a tea or coffee guy?
Neither.
Okay, yeah, nah, that's fair enough. Favourite holiday destination?
Favourite holiday destination, I would say, would be Kingscliff.
Nice. McDonald's or KFC?
Oh, that's a tough. KFC.
Yeah, what's your go-to at KFC?
Oh, I like the chicken fillet burger with cheese and the tenders and potato and gravy.
Nice. Well, shout out to KFC. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, please go ahead. That'd be great. Big KFC fan myself. And along the food lines, is beetroot compulsory on a hamburger?
Oh, mate, it's un-Australian not to have beetroot.
Absolutely correct answer, that one. Best piece of advice you've been given, and who gave it to you?
Go in hard. My dad. You know, when he was tackling, he did a story with me. He got two long necks of beer, and he held one sit still, and he got the other one, he swung it. Before he swung, he said, "Which one do you think will break?" And I said, "I don't know." So he swung the beer bottle, and the one that was stationary broke.
Yeah.
And he said, "If you go in hard, you won't break. The other person will. Just go in hard."
Nice. Like it. Favourite movie of all time?
Oh, Jesus. Legends of the Fall.
Oh, yes, good one there, Brad Pitt. Bit of a two-part question. First car?
First car, a HQ Holden.
Oh, good one. And your dream car? What's the dream car?
Yeah, I'm not a real dream car man, but I like the probably a Mercedes Benz probably.
Yeah, nice. Well, time for the set of six. We'll wrap this up with that one. Favourite sport outside of rugby league?
Oh, cricket.
Yeah.
Oh, NFL.
Okay, yeah. That's just kicked off a few weeks. Who's your NFL team?
Oh, I like the Patriots. Tom Brady's got me over there.
Yeah.
I know he's not there anymore, but Jesus, they were an amazing team.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. What would be the one unique thing people may not know about Chris Johns?
I'm colourblind.
Okay.
And can't dance.
Oh, well, we've got one thing in common. I can't dance either, so that's okay. Which three former teammates do you think you wouldn't want to be on a deserted island with, and why?
Oh, probably Blocker and Alf. Because Blocker would eat all the food and Alf would drive you crazy.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Now, you're hosting a dinner party. What is the one meal that is your speciality that you cook for them?
Oh, that's a good one. I'd go with just good old-fashioned steak.
Yeah.
And handmade chips.
Okay, nice. And to go along with that dinner party, which three people that you haven't met, alive or dead, would you invite to it?
Oh, alive or dead? Johnny Cash.
Okay, yeah.
Johnny Cash and Winston Churchill.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And the last one, favourite musician or band to listen to?
Favourite musician or band to listen to? Going to go with the Eagles.
Nice. And what about a favourite song do you have of the Eagles?
Yes, my favourite song by Country Mile is Life's Been Good to Me.
Okay.
Joe Walsh.
I'll have to check that one out.
It's a cracker. Make sure Joe Walsh is singing it.
Okay. Did you ever have like a pump-up song in the sheds or not?
Not really.
No.
Just whatever was going at the time, you know.
Yeah.
Eye of the Tiger got there a fair bit. Some origins.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Well, Chris Johns, thank you very much for joining me on the Paracave podcast today. I've watched your entire career play, and it's been a privilege to chat to you today. And I hope next time I'm up in Queensland, I might bump into you again and say good day and have a beer with you. And but thank you for joining the Para Cave podcast today.
All good, thank you.
Hello, Para Cave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Para Cave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy, or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. See you next time.